Hey, what's going on? I got some new stuff set up here, so, well, not really new stuff. It's still the old stuff, but I'm readjusting my desk a little bit to try and make this a bit more comfortable for me without this thing being in my face the entire time, but I guess that's the point of a microphone. But I'm glad you could join. It's been a whole 24 hours since I've done this, so I'm excited to dive in and start talking about some of these other things I'm going to be doing, namely working on some of the feed. I put this all in the description. So we've got like RSS feed, the sitemap, things like that. So I've got some plans for that, and I'm hoping to get it done and get it done well. So we have a few UX things as well, and I've been working on a video about custom components. So I want to take a look at the icon part of things again. So we'll take a look at that here. I think I might start with that just because I'm thinking about it. So I got to switch what side I'm on now because I've changed everything again. Ooh, that was the wrong thing. I'm sorry, everybody. Bear with me just 1 minute. Here, yep, so that makes it look like I'm looking over there. And so you shouldn't be missing anything. It's just my terminal down there. And we'll actually stretch that closed a little bit more there. So that should look pretty good. So here's what we have got going on. So let's take our to-do and move it up a little bit. And I'm trying a new software as well, so I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything. So I'm gonna just check in on YouTube real quick, because if I'm getting some chats that I'm not seeing, I would like to know about it. All right, so far, so good. Great. Awesome. All right, so let's start with our icons. And so we're just going to go to our localhost admin. Let that load up. And there are a couple things that I want to try here. So the first thing is we're going to go to our logo and icon. Here, icon. So what I want to do with the icon, which is this little M right here, is not this. So we are going to, okay, good. I do have this return. We're going to keep it as an image tag. And we're going to use CSS to change this up. So first things first. Let's dark icon URL. So that should be right. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to wrap this image in a link, which is going to take an href, which we're going to do /admin. And so now what this will do is it's hard. You won't actually, you can probably see it. But what this is going to do is it links the icon, so it acts as a way to get back to the dashboard. So obviously that's not going to do anything because I'm already at the admin dashboard, but that'll come in handy if like I'm in Pages and I want to move back. I can do that. I don't actually know if that was there before, but it is now. We can actually check that, because if it's a link inside of a link, that's going to be an error. What is this error? So that link must already exist. So hold on. So let's just get rid of that, just in case. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's not a link on the home page. You know, that makes sense. I'm not too worried about that then. All right. So next up, so what we're working on right now is getting the icon to change based on light or dark mode preference. And so one thing with custom components, oh, that's not what I'm looking for, but payload is. Let's make this a little bit bigger for myself. We're going to go to the docs, and we're going to go down, down, down to custom components. And then we're going to look at our root components, because in here we've got our graphics icon, graphics logo. But we also are able in our components to get like payload out of it. So instead of having to query the using the REST API, I should be able to use what's it called? Oop. Sorry, I just got another thing open. Not what I wanted to do. Back. Okay. And then I want to open up, because I don't trust anything that I'm doing right now. Let's do content. Great, there we go. Hi Christian, how's it going? Oh, now I can see chat. Perfect. All right, so what I'm working on now is getting the icon to change based on light or dark mode, so this icon here. But first I want to take a look at all of the different custom components we can use, because in this we should be able to pull in our payload object. Yeah, so default props. So I'm going to try this. So we're going to go to our component, and so we're going to put this back to be, about 3/4. And then we're going to go over to our icon, and we're going to, just to take this, we're going to import type payload from payload. And we've got this constant, but let's turn it into a function just so we can follow the same pattern here. So PayloadCMS is a content management system that is built on NextJS, and it partners really well with NextJS projects, which is what I typically work in. So it's not like this dashboard is PayloadCMS, but I'm customizing it to be what I want it to be for me and my clients. Oh, thanks. I assume it's Gil, but yes, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I know that especially I've not been on a schedule with these recently, so I know it's not easy for people to join when they don't know when it's going to happen. But I do appreciate that I can be a reference for you in Payload. Anyway, so what I'm trying to do now is get the icon to be... my brain is just breaking today. What we're going to do... Let's unbreak this. But I want to... I want to use the local API in order to get the icons instead of the REST API that I'm doing there. So we're going to do an async function, which I wonder if I have to do an export. Probably. We're going to see here in a second. So payload. That looks correct. It is correct. All right. So Why is payload? That should exist. Anyway, so let's just try it out. So we'll do const icon equals await payload dot find global. All right. So what I'm trying to do is query this icon, and I'm trying to get, the payload object to be used so I can use the local API. Perfect, there's that. Great. So now I should be able to do slug, and then this should be global settings, and then I should be able to select just a few things. Logos. No values. Let's just hold off on that. Can I refresh now? Perfect. Okay. Nope. Nope. So just for a second, we're going to get rid of the icon. I know it's not. I think I have to generate our payload, generate import map. Now, npm dev, that should get rid of the old import map. If it doesn't, I'll just add it back. Okay, so we're good. All right, so we're gonna go to our global settings API, go back over to our icon. Yeah, so we have select logos. I should be able to just set that to true. Yeah, okay. Oh, and there it goes. Perfect. So now we can take these constants here and this return. Oops, all right. And then select all of that. Paste all of that. All right, and so this should be globals. Globals logos possibly undefined. Which that should have been an error that I got a long time ago, but I guess I didn't have types really set up. And then this probably. And file name should exist. This I can probably do. We're at icon, so light mode icon, file name, and then, yep, we're out here simplifying. And then this should be dark mode icon. And then I should be able to then get this back in. Let's generate generate our import map again. Or I guess it needed to refresh. Either way, let's see what happens. Icon is not, oh, I need to export it. And then as long as this works, I can get rid of this. And then we're going to do a dark and a light mode thing. Perfect. So we've got our dark mode icon from our local API, which is exactly what I wanted to do. So now we're going to need a class name here. And in this class name, we're going to do, so this is the dark mode. And then we're going to need to do another image. So we should be able to put this into a fragment. And then we're going to copy this image. And this one's going to be light mode. Now, of course, this is going to not really do anything for us yet, but we can do light mode icon. This should be light mode icon light, just icon URL. And then this is light mode icon. Light mode icon. Light mode icon. Perfect. So what this is going to do, it's going to add both icons, if both can even show up. There they are, really hard to see, especially since it's already dark mode. But if I switch it to prefers light mode, which that's actually not even the best way for me to do that, we can do light. You can see the icon a little bit there now. Perfect. All right, so we'll set this back to dark. And now we're going to go to Payload's custom SCSS file, which is somewhere up, somewhere around here. I feel like the music's a little loud. Still. There we go. Just enough to dull out the boring, quiet parts. All right, so now we have a light mode and a dark mode. So just to make sure that this works, we'll do background color pink. All right, so dark mode, we have pink right there. And if I do the same thing for light mode, do pink. And then so all of that background color should be pink now. Great. So what we'll do is at media, and we'll do, prefers color scheme dark. We'll then use our dark mode CSS, it's all the same. And then we'll need our light mode in here as well. And so really we don't actually need dark mode here, because all this is going to do is do display none. So now we should see this recenter and the other one go away. And to do the same thing here, we'll do dark mode, display none if it's under this. And so I may need to explicitly say that it needs to be light mode, but we'll see here in a second. Yep. All right, so then we can do at media, prefers color scheme light. And there we go. So that should come back now. Great, perfect, wonderful. So next we're going to do the same thing that we just did for the icon, but we're going to do it for the logo. And so I am just going to copy all of this, and we're going to, I don't actually want to do that as an SVG. I can go to our logo and just replace all of this. Make sure that payload imported, we've got our do icon here. And then instead of square logo, we're going to do landscape logo, dark mode landscape. That should be the same. It's just saying that it is a duplicate code. So what we'll need to do next, and I closed off our server so I could do this, is we need to disable our auto login. So I can do that here. And then restart our server. And then this should log us out. So I'm going to go to localhost 3000, admin login. It's going to do some stuff. It'd be helpful if I didn't break stuff. So now, oh, I thought I changed this already, logo. Try that again. All right, that should load up, and now we have our light mode or our dark mode icon there. And then if I switch this to be light, nothing happens. But I think it's because, there we go. So now I'm not doing it based on the data theme. I'm doing it based on the actual I'm not doing it based on whatever HTML data theme is. I'm doing it on my browser's preference. And so here's one cool thing I'm going to be able to do is I'm going to overwrite the background color, I hope. I think I can do it just by coming into here, and let's define our root, and we're going to set a new variable, or we're going to take not theme text. I want our background color, which is not there, should be body. I want to change the background color is what I'm trying to get at here. Modal container. All right, so we have style here, which is for the modal container, I believe. Color. I wonder if body, color, font family. Oh, theme BG. All right, so let's try that. So we're going to try overwriting theme background with our dark primary. I don't know if this is going to work. I haven't tried it before. We should actually just try it with pink first, just to see if we can get it to work. Yep. All right, so there's that. And then we can do all right, so it doesn't work with variables here, but I can just replace it with the hex value. There. So that's not what I would actually do, especially for dark. So we'll just leave it how it is. Let the dark mode take over. Let's go ahead and refresh. So all of this should be correct as soon as I undo all of my changes. Cool. So now let's re-enable our auto login, so I don't have to worry about that. And now we have both our icon and our logo with both a light and dark mode preference. So next, let's work on our sitemap, because I don't think we've done this. We have not. All right, so it's almost not even worth looking at all of this. So what we'll do is, I know we're going to need import type. We're going to import our types of page. So it's going to be from our payload types. So we're going to get our post and our page. Post page, and I believe that's all. Oh, and industries. And then next we're going to import get payload, and then import config from at payload config. Now, is this just, yeah, it's just unused. Okay. So now we're going to export, and let's actually pull up NextJS real quick. So NextJS, because I want to make sure I get the right types for this. So generating, we'll just copy and paste that on over, and then we're going to export default function sitemap. And so I know the name has to be like that, which is why I'm looking at this exactly how I need it. So now what we're going to do is just use the URL, the last mod, and I think that's it out of this. So Google doesn't really care about change frequency or priority, and all I care about is what Google cares about, especially for my website. So I'm just going to use what we have here. So we're also going to import our get server-side URL. And at the top here, we'll do const URL get server-side URL. That way we don't have to keep using it, or we don't have to change it when it comes time to actually deploy, which we'll do eventually, I promise. We'll get there. So take a quick sip of water here. Perfect. All right. So now we need to get our posts. We'll need to get our pages. We're going to need our industries. And so all of these, before all of that though, we need to get payload. Wait, get payload. That means that this needs to be an async function. And that means that this needs to be wrapped in a promise. There we go. And so now we have our payload object. We can do payload.find and open all those up. So I guess I could also just do collection because that's going to be needed. And then limit, we can set this to be 0 so we collect all of them, and just so that we're sure that there's no filters on it, we'll set an empty where query. Then we can set our collection to posts, this one to pages, this one to industries, and we can even get a little bit, I guess, fewer number of fields. So we're just going to select out of it. We want our slug, true. And then we also want our updated at, and set that to true. And so we are going to use last mod with our updated at field that's built into payload. And so with those selected, which should be all we need, we should be in good shape to try and do this. Trying to make sure that there's nothing else I want to do. I don't think there is. So what we're going to do is first we can just do our home page. So we can, do we want to do this programmatically? Yes, we do. All right. So we'll save pages for last though, so I can take care of that. All right, so let's build out our sitemap.xml by doing the spread operator, and we're going to take in our posts, and we're going to, oh, not quite. Before we do all that, we're going to use then res.docs, and so now we have all our docs that we can work with. Now I can do the spread operator posts. I need to await all of these. We're getting there. We're getting there. Wait. Now posts.map. See, we got there. And we'll do post. I don't need index, but I'll include it. And then we're going to set URL to get. Oh, wait. So we just need URL. And then we need this to be, I believe it's posts. And then we need our post.slug. Unnecessary label. So here, believe. There we go. All right. So now we have our URL, and then we can do our last modified. And then this one we can do, this should be a date string already. So I can just set our post.updatedAt. It does not appear to be a date. Oh, no, it is. What type does this take? String. Okay. So this should be okay. And just so we can see what this looks like and to make sure that it is okay, we're going to come over here and then go to... All right, so let's keep adding things then. So we'll come back to pages because that's the one that I have to work on the home page. And we'll do industries.map. And then we'll do industry, just in case we need the index. Looks like I am buffering a little bit here. Buffering everywhere. Am I back? All right. All right, well, I'm gonna push ahead. So we've got our industry. And then here we're going to take our URL, industries slug, and do the same thing here, industry updated at. And then we should see industries added to the end here. As soon as I refresh. Yep, there they are. Industries real estate, industries small business. So I'm going to take a look at the activity monitor real quick. I don't want you guys to see that. I just want to make sure I'm not overdoing anything. And I'm not, so I wonder if it's a network thing, even though I've got a strong signal. Anyway. Okay. So lastly, we're going to add our pages in, and I'm putting these at the top because these are probably the most important. Nope, just need our page and I. And then we will take our URL, take care of that in just a second. Last modified, we'll do post or page dot updated at. And so now here for the URL, what we want to do is page dot slug equals home. If it does, we'll return URL, because that should be all it needs. If not, we need URL and then page.slug. Oh, close that quote, open this quote. Yes, Gil, I actually have a video around that coming out soon, but to give you a sneak peek to it, let's first actually make sure that this worked. Perfect. So we've got industries, blog, and then there's our homepage. Perfect. All right. So, oh, is there an industries only page? All right. So, with a canonical, so I think I actually have a canonical meta.canon. Let me double check. So what I normally do is in my SEO information, I put in my own custom canonical URL. So you can do this using the SEO plugin. And since I have it, I should use it. Where maybe this needs to be something else, or like, you clearly know what a canonical is, so I'm not going to try and explain that. But I should just be able to do, we can select in our meta canonical URL, I think is what it's called. But let's take a look to make sure. Canonical. Oh, it's just canonical. Okay, so what I should be able to do then, this is in industries. Instead of using the URL here, I should be able to do URL and set it equal to be industries, industry, meta, canonical. And so I can set it to conditional, like if it were to fail, let's do localhost sitemap. So this should work. No, so it doesn't. Meta canonical. Oh, so this shouldn't be industries at all. So industry meta canonical. So that should be working because meta canonical here is, did I not do it in industries? I did. Oh, let's not overcomplicate things. So if I set that to true, there we go. So now the canonical is pulled in here. Now, what you can do is we can check it. So industry.meta.canonical. So if that doesn't exist, well, first, if it does exist, but if it does not exist, then we can use our like custom built one. So this way, if you have a canonical and you want it to overwrite whatever is already there, you can do that instead of changing like your slug or anything like that. But here you can return your canonical or leave it how it is. And so that's not going to change anything. Now for localization, you can use alternates. I believe it's language. And then here you can do, I guess ENUS makes sense. And so I'm just looking at this down here. Generate localized. And so, yeah, so you got your alternates, you got your languages, and then well, let's just change this to be ES for Español. And then here you'll set your page. And so I'm going to walk through this, and I explained this in the tutorial video I do for it. But when we get this set up, so I don't have localization set up in this project, but if I come in here, what's going to happen is that this is going to break the styling of the sitemap, but it's not going to break the functionality of the sitemap. So we come over here, it's just going to look, it should. Don't you just love when things work like they're supposed to? Alternates, language, ES. So it clearly doesn't show up here. Let me inspect real quick. And so, which should be both. So, weird. Here, let me restart the server, because what this should be doing is adding in another. Man. Oh, language is. Just missed a letter. There we go. So it breaks the styling, but it's still functional. So Google can still read this. It's just not as human readable. So if I come down here, you can see industry, small business, and then it's providing an alternate hreflang as ES, and then it's taking in your localized page. So if you have like your slug localized, you'll still need to go through and do how you would normally do localization for a page. So like if you have a localized slug, you'll want to pull in that localized version of it for it to work properly. But I don't do a whole lot with localization, but know that the tools are there and available. All right, so our sitemap is done. Why don't we do a quick robots.txt, because that's real easy. We're not going to do a static one like this. We're going to... Oh, no problem. Anytime. So we're going to rename this to be robots.ts. And same situation here. Why not just get the actual official documentation? So we're going to take all of this, and we are going to allow all user agents, but we are going to disallow our admin path. And then here, again, we can import get server-side URL, which is a utility that takes care of this for me. So let's do get server-side URL. And if I remember right, it should have a trailing slash already. So we'll see here in a second. Robots.txt does not have a trailing slash. So let's add that in real quick. And that's really all we need for our robots.txt. So love that. This one is super easy. And so now when I actually go live and deploy, I can change the get server-side URL programmatically. It'll change once it's actually deployed. So lastly, we have our sitemap, we have our etc. There's the ability to add an RSS feed. And this is with a separate package, but it should all work just fine. So I don't know if we're going to need config promise. We're going to leave this ts ignore because I don't believe this comes with types. So we'll take care of that in a second. This does need to change. Oh, it's already get payload. Perfect. Let's leave that in. All right, so here we're going to see one of my old clients, a bunch of information here. So we will just work with it. So we've got await get payload. And so this RSS package is a third-party package. It does not seem to have a type file, which is fine, but I want to make sure that let's see if I actually have this installed. pnpm add RSS. It should be there, but yeah. So now we have a route, generate RSS feed, collection we'll do posts. Limit, yeah, we'll keep it at 100 because we don't need everything to be in the feed. All right, error generating RSS feed. So now we'll do posts from, I should have const business name equals await payload find global slug global settings, and then if I remember right, I should have select business name. So I don't even know if there is a business name selected for this already. So posts from, we'll find out here in a second. Business name dot business name. So I'll just do global settings just to make this easier. The post feed for wonder, I haven't tried this before, but can I do business name here? Perfect. All right, the post feed for, see, I'm learning stuff as we go too. Business name. All right, so then our feed URL will be, because I'm going to have to type this a lot. Let's do our get server-side URL. Not what I meant to do, but that works. So I can come down into our function here, the generate RSS feed, set URL. Just went Python there for a second. So all of this should then be changed to URL. Site URL should also be URL. Let's make sure that didn't import anything. Okay, so we're good. Image URL, lagging again. And one screen's just frozen, so that sucks. But all right, so then we have posts here, feed.xml, and then we'll do type of post docs 0. This should just be image. Nope, content dot image dot image. Content dot image. There's that. Then we've got our posts. We'll take, I'm going to see if I can get this right. So we'll do name slug. So name should actually be title. Slug. So title. Then this can be our URL. Posts. That's not important. So neither is that. Then we can do our slug. And then this needs to be the same thing. And then our description. I don't really, do I have a summary? If I go, let's take a look at our post config instead of trying to load that back up. Post, 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 post. Post featured checkbox, date, link, content description. Yeah, okay, so that works. So we'll have post. Oh, this should be description. All right, I guess content. So then I can do content dot description. And then we need our date. And then we'll need our authors, which should be in our content. So, so post dot content. So I'm just gonna redo this actually. No, I'm not. So let's get rid of this. We're not going to include anything until we need to. So this can be post. I'm trying to reinvent the wheel here. All right, so we got in our content. Authors. Okay, so it should be post content authors. So why is post not showing up? Because I'm in a map. Oh, because that's why. Authors. Perfect. Okay. Then we'll do author, type of user. So I don't need type of speaker anymore. And then this should be author, name. Perfect. All right, so we're doing a lot of work before actually trying this out, so that I know that's dangerous. But it should be fine. We'll see here in a minute. Okay. All right, so next up is categories. Do I have a category? I do. So this I'm going to steal. It should just be category name. So, oops. Yeah, let's leave that. Do content. Get rid of that. And then we can do category map. Do category. Type. Category. Category, it's probably title. There we go. And now enclosure. This will be the image attached to the actual object. Well, the actual RSS feed item. That's what I'm trying to say. Perfect. Oops. Just clicking buttons now. Okay, so in enclosure, we're going to check type of content dot image. So first, actually, we want to make sure content dot image dot image. So we want to make sure that an image exists. If it does, we'll want to check the type of that content image does not equal string. And if it does not, we can then return this and get rid of that type check in there and do content.image.image.file name. Do size, which would be content.image.image.file size. And this last one is going to be the same thing but MIME type. So content.MIME type. All right, so all of this should be good now. So this is going to be an RSS feed based on our CMS data. And it's going to be at our posts feed.xml. Could not be found. Posts feed.xml. Maybe it just needs to be feed. No. Oh, blog. Which means that this needs to change. There we go. So now we can see it's not styled very pretty, but we can see that we have our each of these have its own thing. So the channel has its own information. So if we zoom this out a little bit, we can see that. So we have here, oh. Sorry, I just realized I had a window I shouldn't have had open, which is probably why leading to lag, but so what we have here, we've got the whole channel, we've got the title of the channel, the description of the channel, then the link for it, as well as one featured image with the link for it. Then we have the last time it was built, which do I not get to change? I guess not. Oh, and the date is included there. So here we can see when it was published, the creator, which is the author, the category, the ID, which you can make whatever you want it to be as long as it's unique and does not change. I learned that the hard way. It should not change. Anything that relies on it and it changes, breaks. But we have everything we need here for an RSS feed. So we can check that off as well. So that was a lot of work there. So I got maybe another like 10 or 15 minutes in me, maybe a little bit longer. A little bit longer, I think we'll be okay. We'll go for 30. I want to change, we have an FAQ block. If I go back to the home page here. Got an FAQ block. And what I want the FAQ block to do is not this. I want it to be where I click on one and it opens and the other one is closed. So one should be default open and the other one should be closed. And so I found an example of this. Let's see what happens here. I don't really want to pull it up there, so I wonder if I can look for payload reusable blocks. Oh look, there's me. What is this thing called? Me again. Other pre-block. Okay, hold on. So real quick, what I'm going to do is just go to my face because I need to pull up a link from a different window, and I didn't know where that was going to come from. Okay, so I saw somebody on Reddit post about this the other day, and I like the idea. There's only essential. So here it's individual blocks. So I have not used any of this. I can't really recommend any of it yet, but there is one that I want to take some inspiration from, and that's this FAQ here. So I actually don't know how this is built, but it's really well done. But here, like, I'm able to select one of them, and then it automatically will close the other. There's one other thing that I want to do. Set up FAQ schema. FAQ schema Google. So actually it may not be FAQ page. I think it might just be if you're all right, so FAQ doesn't work in general. Can I do Q&A? So I didn't realize it went to industry specific. So this should be what I need, right? Okay, so I guess this has changed. So I don't actually want to do an FAQ page because health site, government agency, form page, support page. All right, so weird. I wonder why they only made this to be for government and health related. Oh well. All right. So anyway, so I can look in here and I can see the code for it. And I want to take some of the inspiration for this code. So I should be able to shrink this down and go to our FAQ block. FAQ block. Yeah, so if you're in the market, I think this is all free. I don't think there's a pricing page or anything. And you want to get some reusable components, feel free. I like to have a little bit more control over my payload blocks, but I know not everybody is about that. So even if you want some inspiration like what I'm doing right now, this is a great place for that. All right, so, and that's layoutblocks.dev if you're looking for it. All right, components, FAQ block. So we've got our item, and then we have the whole component, FAQ. So we can actually remove this. And so can I make this a client component? I believe I can. And I'm going to need to, because each item is going to need its own. I'm going to need to pass in the, I'm going to need to pass in an index, which I'm going to have to use state for that. So let's give it a shot. I'm not querying anything here. So, and there's no server component because FAQ item is a client component as well. So we should be in good shape, but we'll just add use client and then make sure. All right. So great. Here then we'll come and we'll import React and use state from React. I already have my types. I don't need a chevron and I don't need that CN utility. And so in the function, we're going to do const open index. It's going to be by default null, and use state number or null. All right, so let's close that. And then we can do const toggle item equals index number. And then we're going to set open index to open index equals index null index. And so I actually may change this, instead of null, have it be index 0. We'll see. I may have to switch that back, but because I want the first one to default be open. Excuse me. So we'll see if that actually works. All right. So now we're going to come down to our FAQ item, which is right here. So they're mapping it out here. And then we're going to need, we have our index already set. So key is set. And then FAQ, we're going to need to pass in our onClick here. So within FAQ item, I believe we're going to need I think I need to add it here. So onClick and then we'll do, you have to do a couple things, I think, because there is no onClick for the FAQ item. So within here, props. So I guess maybe it needs to be here. On click, then take it on click. Oh, that's late. Have a good night, Gil. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so props. And then we're going to add in our on click. And I'm just going to set it to any for right now. Because I need to figure out what that's actually supposed to be. Props. Cannot find property. Unclick. No, I didn't mean that. Props. Why is my brain breaking? Oh. All right. So I swear it should be this. Props, and then on click any. Okay, so that works. All right, I'll figure out what type it's supposed to be later. So then FAQ item. FAQ item cannot be used as a JSX component. Okay. So if I do FAQ, I have a feeling that this is not what it's asking me to do. It is not. All right, so let's see what happens though. Does this break? It does not, but it also doesn't do anything. Okay. So on click. So I wonder if I then need to do a div. I may have to do a little bit of styling some things, but let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. So I believe what needs to happen then is this should be right. Then I can get rid of this. I think. Isn't this one parent element? Guess not. All right. All right, so we need to leave that here. Let's get rid of that. What is happening? FAQ item. Okay, that was weird. All right. So now we need, so now I should be able to do, because I'm going to have to add in that key again anyway, faq.id. And so see what happens to my styling. Nothing. Good. And so now if I do on click and then let's just so I can see okay. Not getting anything there. Oh, because that's why. Okay, still not getting anything. For some reason, onClick doesn't work here. Toggle item. Okay, so 0, 1. Perfect. All right, so we're getting something. What it is, I'm not quite sure yet. So let's take a look. We have our button, which is the wrapper, which is our toggle item index. So I wonder, I'm not going to use all this Tailwind for sure, but oh, okay, so it doesn't quite work like I want it to. All right, so we have onClick working right. And so maybe here's an example of where I need to bring things up because I don't want to use onClick. Well, I need to pass down the index. So that means then, excuse me. This should so instead of clicked, we could do index this, where is it? The open index equals index. So we can pass in index and open index. Or let's take all of this, go to our FAQ item, put it all up here. Question and answer doesn't quite work anymore because we need to put all of that into a map, which should be all in here. I didn't cut this. Yes, okay. So then all of that should go in there, and then we should be able to do FAQ. And then FAQ. All right, that shouldn't change anything, but we'll make sure. Oh, prop our key. So we can do our key. Can be FAQ ID. Then I assume all of this needs to move to the main container. Yep, so that's working again. Now, we can take our main item here. All right, and so on click, so button, the whole thing is wrapped in a button though, right? Yeah. So we take the thing that everything is wrapped in, which is this here, and we can do on click, do toggle item index, which is actually just I. Then if I press this, we get our alert. They both open though, so we making progress. So handle click, this should be our index. This is going to also be a number. And then open index, which is also going to be a number. And so we're going to set all of this if index equals open index. Then all of that can happen. So index open index. All right, let's see what happens. So they both still open. Hold on, refresh. I can get rid of that alert now. So clearly toggle item is working. Oh, it's because they're both getting this clicked as well. So instead of clicked, we'll do index equals open index. Instead of index, it should be just I. Let's see what happens here. So default, that one's open. They both open though. Okay, so that's almost there. Oop, forgot that that's a link. So that works-ish. So I need this to then take up all of its actual space. Which means that okay, what happens if I just do null first? I'm getting close, so I like that. A lot is happening here. Okay. So I wonder, instead of toggle item here, open index number or null. Let's be honest, I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay. So, oh. Set open index. All right, so we're going to get rid of the null value again. And so I like that it opens up this one initially. I don't like that then this happens. Let's do window alert, open index, and index, which these are going to be the same. So refresh. So that opens both of them. So this one is also 0. Well, no, it's 1 now, but sometimes it's 0. 1. 0. Okay. That's rough. All right, so we have our toggle item, which toggles the item. I think I'm overthinking it. So toggle item should be what I'm actually doing here. So value open index. So let's put all of this in here. Oops, okay. Nothing else is broken except for, so 0, both open. Toggle item. All right, so we have our on click that then toggles the item. Come on. Dang, man. So if it's not clicked, then it is taking the current offset height plus 20, or it should be 0. So this is currently set to 0. Okay, great, not great. Great, not great. So what happens if I do the null value like it does in the example? Great, not great. All of that is bad. Does that not happen over here? Great, great. Okay. So let's take this a little bit more slowly. So we have our open index and set open index. Then we have our toggle item, which is that where it needs to be? We're about to find out. Cool, not cool, not cool, not cool. All right, so I know part of the issue is with this style. And also with this one. So let's see what happens, just simplify things. Okay. So then we have height and set height. So maybe okay. Nope, still not quite it. All right, so let's think about this real quick. When I click on index 0, it sets, well, yeah, so first we come up here to the toggle item. It sets the open index if it's equal to index to 0. Otherwise, it takes the index. Here, it's setting the height if it's not clicked to the offset height of what's inside, adding 20 to the height, but if not, it's set to 0. So let's refresh. It opens both. Okay, so we're getting close. No, we're not. So this does the same thing. So now what's happening is I'm setting clicked, all right, set clicked. And, oh, so let's try moving this up to the parent. So when it's clicked, we're getting the styles. That's good. That is what we want. I equals open index. Input element. Right. So I'm just trying to avoid using Tailwind here. I'd rather not. So, because then I'm gonna have to set stuff up. But, so we have the chevrons are working fine. So when it's actually clicked, so this one, if this is the one selected, refresh. So this one opens, this one technically does not open. This one will never close now. Think I might be overthinking this. So guess maybe let's just get it working how it's supposed to first. So let's get rid of the height and all of this junk. Except for I need setOpenIndex. So that should be right. So at null, nothing's open. That's open. Now that's open. Good. So now if I set our OpenIndex default to be 0, I can't close this, but I can open this, and I can open this. So what we want to happen is for this to take the full height now. So that then is done here with our set height. Add tsignore back in, which then sets the height of both containers, because if not clicked. So can we do open index equals index? All right, so there's something with the set height that's happening. So when I set my height, it's setting it to all of the elements. And that's because of reasons. So maybe we add it to just the question container. Which still does the same thing. Okay. We'll do one more layer down. Let it be on the question. So it's still setting the height. So that's going to happen regardless of where I include it. So there's something with our set height that needs to change. So but now if I change all of these height things that were making it smooth, and set this to be height. Oh wait, I can set height there. So that's right. That's not right. That's right. Weird, man. Okay. So let's set this to be null. We open this. Good. We try to close it. Not great. So refresh. So let's see here. So let's set OpenIndex to null instead. Good. Not good. wonder what happens if I set this to null. Refresh. Oh my gosh. Okay. It's driving me crazy. So now it's just stuck that way. So we do preview, and that just works. Component code. All right, we'll give this 5 more minutes, and then I'll just call it quits after that. Of course, I'm going to keep thinking about it, but what can you do? So, open index. So open index starts as null, index is now 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, okay. But then I click this, they're both 0. So how do I prevent them from both being 0? Because it's when that happens that this happens. So set open index, index null, otherwise index. Number null, by default null. Use state, okay. Then we have on click toggle item I, which is the index. And then I open it, that's the same, open index I. Open index I. Open index. So I'm essentially following this just about exactly, minus the tailwind stuff, I get that. But, I mean, let's try it. We can add a button. Oh, all of it's a button. So we'll change this div. This div will instead be a button. And then we'll do on click there. Okay. Yeah, but see, I see how this is working, and it's working perfectly. I don't like how it's like popping out, but Toggle item index. And then we've got our question. Then we have our answer. Index equals open index. If it's true, maybe I need to do undefined. I don't know. Classes unanswer container. Then again, so that's good, that's bad. So clicking that twice, clicking the same one twice, always opens both. Otherwise, it turns out okay. I mean, this still isn't tall enough. So if I log then height, I am so confused. Now, why is this centered? All right, so I don't think this is going to work like I want it to, so let's just go back to our local history and pretend like this never happened. So it's going to be something that I need to think about. When did I start this? Yeah, so let's just do revert this. FAQ. It works like I want it to for now. This, I should be able to just undo that. All right, so that seems like a waste of time, but I don't think it was. It was just not the best use of time. So I think this is where I'll call it quits. I'm getting kind of hungry. So I don't want to work on this anymore, because the reason I'm not really... So like, I think this is very well designed. I really like the layout. I don't like how it opens like this. But I wonder if that's something that I can use when I start digging back into Tailwind. I can just take this like it's meant to be. Even though it has some other like component library stuff. What do we have here? Yeah. But I mean, I can use that too. Either way, we can use that in maybe a future project with hold on. FAQ item is clicked. So when it's clicked, if I could get the previous value that was clicked and have it be unclicked, that would be great. But I don't quite think that that's possible. So clicked, because we are assigning the use state hook to each item. So, you know, it doesn't really matter too much to me. I do like how this looks. I'm not going to worry too much about it. Oh, our pain points. All right, let's end on a high note. So I need to fix more button things. So if we go to our pain points, the button here needs to change to, I believe, a CTA button. And it does indeed. So let's make sure all of our buttons are fixed. It seems like it. Yep, all right, so I think this is a good place to stop. I will pick up some more streaming again on Sunday. We won't worry too much about this FAQ because of how I think I have mine set up. It's not going to quite work the same way as this one, and that's okay. But I can use this as inspiration for later to redo an FAQ component. And then maybe, I think I might throw this back in when I work with Tailwind, which I will have a video of Tailwind stuff coming soon. So I'm going to move this. Sorry, oh, you can see my notes now. They're up. So I'm going to move that back. So in our Tailwind, I guess we can do tech to try notes. Okay. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but so this will be for a future project. Perfect. All right, so next time, so Sunday probably, most likely, we'll get our favicons, whatever you want to call them, set in our admin panel. We'll work on our social section component. We will try to get plain text going for our blocks using a utility function, and then create local business. And then we'll experiment a little bit with things like nested blocks, which I'm not sure are possible. And then also the search plugin, which I have not used before. So some good stuff coming up soon. But I'm going to commit these changes as soon as I am done streaming. And then we'll pick it up again on Sunday, where we'll start working on some of this other stuff. But we did some good work today. So we got a sitemap going, we got an RSS feed going, we got robots.txt going, we got our icons being pulled in from the local API instead of the REST API, which is a big win in my book. And then what else did we do? I have a whole to-do list that I've been checking off. Sitemap robots. Oh, and then on our icons, we also used the custom CSS to either do light or dark mode depending on user preference. So make sure that you're subscribed to my channel so you can see whenever I go live or whenever I put out a new tutorial video. And so I do my tutorial videos every Tuesdays when they come out, and they're streamlined. They're not like this where it's like flow of stream of consciousness. It's actually like well written out, scripted, and follows with examples. So if you were looking to learn something, hopefully you did here. I know I learned a few things as we went, but these videos are more for like live coding rather than trying to teach something. So check out those videos every Tuesday, and I will see everyone on Sunday. Thanks for watching.